Hey everybody, HMV here, playing some Kerbal Space Program, and we are tails between our legs, heading home with Jeb here. We are accepting defeat. We are recording at the early hour of 7:20 a.m. Eastern Time, which is basically in my profession about 7 p.m., maybe 9 p.m. So sorry if any of you had the channel just sitting here on and are now being woken up by me. But that's what you get. I have a maneuver here. And I just realized having these engines on is a really bad idea. I have a maneuver here that's going to put this ship in a nice circular orbit. I actually think I'm going to turn these ones on. Might as well. They will help push us, especially with these ones off. That makes me want to turn these up to 5. So we pump the fuel out of these, and then we have these for longer. So, okay. If you are watching, feel free to come out of the chat. So far, no one's watching. Not surprised. But yeah, we're bringing the ISRU ship with us specifically because we don't have anywhere else to put the fuel. So he's staying with us until he runs out of fuel, and then we're going to ditch that, and Jeb's going to come home in the Tylo lander, which has plenty of fuel to get all the way back to Minmus. Once we get this guy ejected, I've got 2 ships that I'm going to launch from Kerbin. One to actually go to Jewel. I'm giving up on the whole one ship thing. Just not going to work. I'm not smart enough to do that. But I'm going to give up on that whole one ship design, and I'm going to send the stuff that only has to go to Jewel, and then the rest, which is actually just kind of a remake of the ISRU ship here, we're going to send that to Minmus, Moon, Duna, Ike, Drez. Okay, we are off center. Why are we off center? Why are we off center? Something. Oh, I know what it is. There's fuel in this because I'm not in the VAB. This needs to be set to 5, and this needs to be set to 5. There we go. When you're not in the VAB, the yeah, we actually had a collision with hey viewer, how are you doing? We had a collision with Moho there for a second while we're doing this burn. But yeah, while you're when you're in the VAB, which I've been in a lot over the past week, and you make changes to your fuel pumps, it propagates via symmetry to the other tanks. It doesn't do that when you're in space. Luckily, I found that out in a non-catastrophic way and not a catastrophic way. And that's good enough for me. Now we have a nice circular orbit, and we can now eject ourselves towards Kerbin when we're way up here. I'm going to basically do the opposite of what I do. How fast can we can time warp fully. Okay, good. I'm going to do the opposite of what I do when I go to Moho, which is I'm going to eject here when we're near the descending node. So that I can take advantage of the not having to fix my what you call it. Oh, that's funny. We got an even counter. Set Kerbin as a target. Yeah, we're actually a little bit forward. If we go forward a few orbits, and then also bring this forward in our orbit, we can save some fuel. Oh, I am really bad at this. I actually have to go out to Kerbin. Okay, Kerbin should have shown up here. I am by no means surprised that it did not. Okay, there's our encounter-ish, and then we can work it from there. So, that is in 6 days, which is perfectly fine. We'll just time warp ourselves there. And according to this, we've only got 1738 in the tank, but I know we have more than that because Kerbal Engineer has no idea I have good speed fuel pumps installed. Also, our estimated burn is a lot longer than our time, so I probably should have realized that. But this far away from Minmus or Moho, it probably doesn't matter that much. We're not getting any benefit from Oberth, but we are getting benefit from the fact that we're moving slow relative to everything else. So yeah, see our delta V total and our delta V for this stage is actually going up as the fuel drains out of these tanks. I just realized these guys are way thrust limited down. I'm actually going to cut the engine and thrust limit these guys back up. And then go again. Helps us a little bit. Got 2 people watching now. Good morning, or good afternoon if you're not in the US. Or good evening if you're in Asia. Okay, yeah, all the fuel is out of these guys, so we're just draining fuel out of these guys, and then when these engines die, I'm going to have to cut the engine, detach the relic of the ISRU machine. I'm also going to control from here, just to make sure that we keep the maneuver node. When we detach, what is this engine? Oh, that's the middle engine here. Oh, he actually knows that he's getting fuel out of these. That's kind of funny. But these guys are keeping their fuel, yeah. Okay, this is gone. Let's get rid of this detritus here. We can't actually back up, so we're going to have to just bump our way out. Luckily, we don't need to worry about keeping this ship, so if we lose, say, solar panels here, that's not a big deal. And as soon as we are clear of this guy, it's probably good. There we go. Bye-bye. Now we got to watch for these tanks. When these are gone, we're ditching them. Making sure here. We have landed on Eve, we've landed on Gillian, we've landed on Moho. We still have a long way to go. But well, ideally, we're going to make it in this capsule is just going to meet up with what I'm building on Kerbin right now. And we're going to send those to all the other places and finish this grand tour. This was not a failure, it was a learning experience. At least that's what Jeb tells himself. Okay, and I just realized our staging is totally wrong. So I'm going to take a break here for a second and do these manually. Okay, we don't care about our maneuver node very much anymore. All we care about is going prograde until this touches Kerbin's orbit. And let's get as close as we can here. There we go. Okay. Now we want a new maneuver node here. Probably going to have to go an orbit. Before this makes any sense, yeah. So let's go plus an orbit. And then bring this back, and looks like here. Yeah, this will do it. That's good enough for now. And I'm going to actually do this whole time warp here, because I want to get my encounter and know exactly, can I get this guy into orbit around, say, Gilly on his own fuel? Because if I can, I'm going to, because that'll save me some work in low Kerbal orbit. How are we doing on fuel? Oh, we're fine. And we just went back into Moho's sphere of influence, I think. But we're fine now. Looks like we still got our maneuver node and everything. Oh, I was like, why didn't it stop? And it didn't stop because we have a whole other orbit to do. Anyway, yeah, there's not much to do while we're waiting for this. So, normally I would cut this out, but I'm not on YouTube right now, so I can't. But what do we got here? We got a 28-second burn. We've got 51 seconds. So yeah, most of the extra fuel tanks are going to get us into orbit at Kerbin. And yeah, I'm gonna say I think I can get this guy into orbit around Minmus. That's my prediction. Hi, person number 3, doing a grand tour. We are returning to Kerbin from Eve and Moho, having landed on Eve, Gilly, and Moho. And we're picking up with the rest of the ship that's going to take us to places beyond. Was not originally part of the plan. I think I'm just going to do this burn. This far out, it's not going to matter. As soon as we get a Kerbin encounter, I'm just waiting for it. I know it's going to happen any second now. There we go. Okay. Let me... Where's Kerbin? There you are. Okay, this is actually about where we want to be because, like I said, we want to come in contact with min-miss. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a mid-course correction about here. And we're going to go back in orbit, so it actually affects Kerbin here. And I probably should have changed the angle, but oh well. That'll get me a nice min-miss near encounter. Let's set min-miss as the target. Let's see if we can actually nail an encounter with min-miss. Looks like no. But let's see what this is going to cost us to actually slow down here. It's going to be hundreds. Thousands. Okay, to slow down at Moho, roughly for Moho is going to be about 22. Our total is 27. And this is like a nothing. So we've easily got it. So we're going to be able to stop at Moho. So that, or I keep saying Moho. We're going to be able to stop at min-miss. No problem. Okay, so we've got this mid-course correction. Let's go ahead and put a pin in that. And head to the Space Center, and we're going to launch some ships. And the first thing to launch, it is early morning already, which is convenient, so I don't have to time warp, is I got so many things here. Everywhere 4. Let's see. I need to know. Yeah, this is to Joule. This is what we're sending. This is the actual next ship that's going up. And I'm going to totally cheat. We're going to use the gravity turn mod. I'm actually going to say improve guess, because it did a pretty good job last time, but we want to go to 100. We want to stop at stage 2, so it doesn't do anything, and we're going to launch. And this guy's pretty simple. It looks a lot like the thing we just ditched in orbit of Moho. It's a lot smaller, it's a lot more refined. It's got a skipper on the bottom here, and that's what's going to be our main drive engine. I am eschewing all ideas of using nukes. I don't want to waste the time. I find nukes boring. But this guy, these get it going pretty fast. These basically to get it into orbit, and then this is going to get it to min-miss, where it's going to be able to scan for ore, find a nice spot using the prospector probe here, and then land the whole thing down on min-miss and fill it up with fuel. With Jeb in the cockpit, he's going to be docking his ship right on here, and then he's going to fill that up with fuel, get credit for landing on min-miss, and then he's going to go to Moon, possibly return to min-miss to top off the tanks, and then head off to Duna. And the gravity turn mod is doing its job. Let's tell you what, let's watch this in pretty mode here. Let's get this off the screen for pretty mode to happen. There they go. And we are off. I do like this mod. It's like, it does everything I would want MechJeb for, basically, without having to install MechJeb. 4 people. We now have 4 people watching. I have more people watching now than I normally do when I do this at 3 in the morning. Nobody's feeling chatty? Come on in the chat if you feel like it. But yeah, I fiddled with this guy, emptying the fuel out of these tanks in order to ditch them early and stuff like that. But it never really worked. It's better if I just let the gravity turn mod do what it wants to do. And I might actually, when I get up to about when it starts going really slow, I might just hit the gas and go really fast all the way up to apoapsis. So I don't have to wait for the gravity turn mod to slowly get me over. That's one thing that it does. It does it efficient. It does a very efficient launch, but it takes a long time to get to orbit because you end up going sideways through about half of Kerbin's atmosphere. If you hear the ice clinkling, I'm sorry. I just got off a very long shift at work. I'm tired. It's 7:40 in the morning, and I am drinking whiskey and orange juice to calm myself for what is probably going to be another set of horrifically bad missions where I fail all the time. But okay, I think I'm gonna abort this. I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna get this up to a nice 90. Actually, go ahead and turn this on. We'll just get red on the horizon here. We're gonna burn this up to 90, and then we'll stop there. We've gotten the most efficient part of this done. Also, we've got a TWR of 2. I could 2.5 actually, over 2.5. I could probably pump the fuel out of these guys into this. Well, actually, not even into the center here, but I'll just wait for that. We're almost up. As soon as I get this up, I'll do all the pumping and then dump these guys. Oh, never mind. Let's ditch them. Made up my mind for me. And there are solar panels on this guy, but he's also got a bevy of little pub nukes on him to power all the stuff. We're going pretty far from the sun, so I don't really want to deal with solar power too much. Also, it's always nice when you are when you're dealing with probes that you don't have to worry about things like where is this fuel coming from if this is full? Are these guys? Yeah, these guys are pumping their fuel into them. That's pretty funny. Although they can't be. Oh, it just started going into that. Okay, it was like, do I have a bug where it's making fuel for itself? Okay, let's go to Minmus. Let's set Minmus as our target. Looks like, actually, if we burn right about now, we will probably get there. Only thing we would have to worry about is a moon encounter. I don't think we're going to get one. There we go. Yeah, that's on our second turn. So this is it's a 70. Yeah, we got to go now. One thing I probably don't need to do in this attempt to salvage my Grand Tour mission is to be impulsive, but if I have a chance to get to Minmus without having to wait an entire like half Minmus month, I'm gonna go for it. And this guy, the whole goal of this guy is to before Jeb gets here, get into orbit of Minmus, get the scanner into polar orbit, scan, find a nice spot, send the lander down, the little prospector down, so he can find a really good spot. And then sit there and be the marker for the main ship that's going to then just sit in orbit and wait for Jeb to arrive. Jeb's going to arrive, dock with the ship, and then we're going to all go down in the main ship to land on Minmus and actually do the ISRU stuff. And if you're curious, I have hacked the save so that Jeb is both a pilot and an engineer. So he can not only hold prograde, retrograde, and all that good stuff, but also get the benefit of the drilling. Okay, we've got a Minmus encounter. That's what I figured. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the... Uh-oh. I don't have any forward-facing RCS jets. That's bad. Okay, let's go ahead and turn around. See, I have backwards-facing ones, but I have no forward-facing ones. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me later. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit farther here. That way we come in a nice... we can come in equatorial here. By burning north right here. Why am I not seeing... This is my upcoming orbit, yes. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is my current orbit. Is seriously 1 meter per second too much for this? I don't know what's going on. Tell you what, we have the meters per second. Let's fix it at Minmus. What is that? 88, that seems reasonable. Doesn't really matter that much. Let's get a nice equatorial-ish orbit here. Perfect. Yeah, 25 meters per second, well worth it. Yeah, and once this guy gets all set up at Minmus, we'll launch the Jewel ship, which has to come up here and get in orbit of Minmus so that the Minmus ship can refuel it, because it's going to need full fuel tanks in order to get all the way to Jewel. So the Minmus ship might do that, and then go land on Moon, and then come back to Minmus, top off its own tanks, and then head off to Duna and to places beyond. That's kind of the goal here. Minmus is around here somewhere. There it is. Okay, we are... Yeah, we're not in Minmus? Yeah, we are in Minmus' sphere of influence. Okay, let's aim at our maneuver node. I could probably ditch this guy, but he's probably about the same meters per second to do his polar change than he is to do the other one, so might as well. Okay, it's a 2-second burn.